Hi everyone, it's Kate from Foodies Collective here, and we're so excited because we have Arum Nixon from MasterChef joining us today.
Hi. It is exciting.
Super exciting. Look, as you guys know, we've had Arum curate our latest discovery box, which has been a huge success, and yeah, thanks for Arum for selecting some amazing Australian products that are inside this box. But what we thought we'd do is take the opportunity to ask some questions that everyone's like dying to know, especially about his MasterChef experience. And I'm going to dive straight in with the one question that so many people ask is the food hot or cold when the judges actually come to judge the food?
I knew it was going to be that question because everyone, literally everyone I meet, always, that's what everyone always wants to know. The short answer is it's cold. And it makes sense when you think about it. So if you imagine the end of, we've been cooking away, and then there's, at the end of it, it'll cut to this nice, neat scene of the MasterChef kitchen with everyone's benches nice and clean. And clearly that's not how we finish cooking.
Yeah, totally.
So there's a good amount of time where they have a whole team of people who are amazing people who come in, do all the hard work of cleaning everything up. Often we'll go off for lunch, and then we'll come back, and then the food will be tasted.
So hours later?
Potentially hours later.
Yeah,
and the only thing is anything that's frozen gets kept frozen, obviously, and anything that's hot, like a sauce, gets reheated.
So are they trying food as you're actually cooking throughout the whole...
That's how they know that the food tastes good or not. They already know, and the number of times you walk up and you get the questions like, the questioning will either start like, oh Arum, you had a really tough time there, didn't you? You know you're in trouble, they've obviously tried it, it's not looking good. Or, Arum, you were really cruising through that, you looked like you had a smile on your face, and you're like, oh okay, well I obviously did well, let's go along with that. So you know pretty much as you start whether you're onto a winner or not.
Okay. So tell us a little about yourself though, like what is your kind of favourite food to cook with? Like what's your personal style of cooking, outside of the whole MasterChef experience?
I guess it's quite kind of hard to sum up, but it's basically, I guess the sort of food I cook is everyday food, just I guess now through the whole MasterChef process, MasterChef'd up a little bit. And I think for me the big learning was that you don't have to, I'm not a big fan of all those gels and everything like that, and all the kind of fancy tempered chocolate and all the things that are quite chefy. I think good food is just good normal food that you and I would eat every day, but just done with those little kind of differences that make it MasterChefy. So I don't cook, on a day-to-day basis. I think, I cook probably a whole lot better than before I started the MasterChef process, but I don't necessarily cook different things. A lot of it will be the same stuff, just hopefully tastes that bit better.
Okay, interesting. And out of the experience, like, is there like a moment, like one of your most memorable experiences? Like, what would that be?
I think probably, I guess for me, the turning point in the whole MasterChef experience, and this is actually different to what I said in the little magazine, but actually the turning point for me came in Japan, and I didn't even get much airtime on this, but it was the second challenge in Japan. We were in a Michelin-starred kitchen, and we each had to cook one of 8 different courses in a degustation meal. And it was quite daunting. We're in a Michelin-starred kitchen. We had George mentoring us in the kitchen. And for me, that was probably a turning point because I had a really good cook. I'd had a terrible cook. Again, you probably didn't see it on the show, but the first cook in Japan on the rooftop was terrible for me.
Really?
I got away quite lightly on the edit, but I actually had a rubbish cook. And I was feeling quite down about the whole thing and feeling a bit out of my depth. And then I had a really good cook in that second cook. I didn't even make it into kind of the top 4 out of that cook. But for me personally, I had a good cook. I put up stuff that I was really happy with. And I think it was probably the first time where I cooked as myself. And everything I've just talked about in terms of just doing food I'd like to eat but done really well, I think came together in that dish. And from then on, I think pretty much that was a turning point for me, that from then on, I felt that much happier and more comfortable. I cooked food that I wanted to cook. I didn't worry about trying to be MasterChef.
I was going to say, you must feel that pressure throughout, especially the early stages, of trying to put it on and put something extra, to be that chefy kind of cooking. That pressure must have been there for a while.
You do, because nobody really, let's face it, none of us before the show cooked like we had to on the show. Nobody really, in a normal situation, plates food.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
So you just put food out in bowls or even in the saucepan you cooked it in,
Totally,
and then
yeah.
everyone eats it. And that's how normal people eat.
Yeah.
And none of us had cooked in restaurants. None of us had done any of that sort of stuff. A few people had obviously put photos on Instagram and played around with plating.
Yeah.
But that was a whole new thing.
Yeah.
So it's very tempting to then try and be somebody you're not.
Yeah.
You look at all those people on Instagram, on any whatever social media or anything else,
And even looking at past episodes of MasterChef, or past contestants, going, oh my god, I have to actually like come to that level.
And I think we watched old episodes quite a lot in the house,
okay.
and one of the episodes I remember watching was Brent from, was he 4 years ago I think, who won it.
Yeah.
And it was his semi-final. And the dishes he cooked in the semi-final were so simple, it wasn't true. He did pork belly.
Yeah.
You know the semi-finals where you cook for this whole bunch of people, and there's so much pressure because it's a service challenge.
Yeah.
He cooked pork belly with a couple of sides.
Yeah.
It was his style of cooking.
Yeah.
It was super easy.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him just standing around, feeling totally in control. I remember watching that and thinking, that's what I should be doing, because that's my style of food. That's the sort of food, if I had people coming round, I'd cook something like pork belly. Why am I trying to do something different just because it's on the show? And as soon as you become comfortable with that and cook the food that you love cooking, you cook that much better. And that's a real kind of turning point, I think. In the show.
Interesting. So talk us through the actual, I guess, process of auditioning for MasterChef. So from your kind of pre-MasterChef days, those first moments when you're actually going through the interviewing process, like what was that like and what did it involve?
It's very daunting, it's terrifying, but it's all part of the experience. And I went to see, the auditions have just happened, so the Sydney auditions happened a few months ago, and they've actually just selected the top 24 down in Melbourne now, so it's all happening for 2018's crew right now. And it all starts, you send in an application form, which is 13 pages about yourself, how you cook, photos of the sort of food you cook. That's daunting enough in its own right. Then you go to, first of all in Sydney, and you go and cook a mystery box. And then if you get through that mystery box, you cook your signature dish. I went along, I never expected to get through the first round, so I didn't really have a signature dish ready to go. So they asked me at the end, they were like, are you ready for tomorrow to come back in and cook your signature dish? And I was blagging it the whole way through, and I had some ideas of what I might cook, but not a full dish. And I then had to frantically pull together a dish in 24 hours that I was happy with and cook it for them.
How late did you stay up that night to
I was
preparing?
up quite late. I didn't sleep that much either. But I think, and I remember talking to the guys this year about the process, the guys who are going through it, and saying, look, enjoy every part of it. Even if you don't make it past the first round, you've cooked basically for, beyond the judges, you've cooked for the same team who make MasterChef. That's amazing. You've been part of that MasterChef process. And that's something to be really proud of, no matter how far you get. And it's the same with all of it. People get caught up in surviving or winning or getting whatever your goal is. And actually you forget to enjoy the process. It's an amazing experience to be part of. It's an amazing bunch of people to be around. The very, people who love food, you get to be in and around food 24/7 for 6 months is the whole filming.
Amazing.
That's an amazing thing to do that as an adult you never get to do.
Totally. So what was that experience like on set, or I guess not on set, in between filming, like with the other contestants? What was life like for that 6-month period?
So again, something you probably don't realise is when you go onto the show, you're locked away in a house for the whole time with no access to the outside world.
Like
so you
phone calls?
No, you get 2 10-minute phone calls a week. To whoever you want to call. Which I don't know how that would compare to prison, but probably roughly similar.
Oh my gosh.
And look, from a contact, so
they're listening in on those phone calls, like what you're talking about.
No, but you're not. But they do say you're not supposed to even talk about what's happened.
I'm sure.
Although sometimes you might mention stuff, but you can't. Like, it's so hard. You call your wife for the first time. You haven't spoken to her in several days, and you have to cram everything into 10 minutes, which is really difficult. And I think that's why I remember watching people in the past on episodes, and they start crying when they've had a bad cook or anything, and you think, for goodness sake, it's just cooking. Pull yourself together. And then you go through that process, and you are so focused on doing well in that cook and it's gone badly. You haven't spoken to your family, to your wife, your kids if you have them for however long, and
I can appreciate that.
You're so immersed in it, and that's why I think when you get to those moments, they mean so much more to you.
You're super vulnerable, aren't you? It's not,
exactly.
And
it it is tough, and you don't know how long you're going to be in there for.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I say tough, it's also an amazing experience to be part of.
Yeah.
And if you enjoy it for what it is, it's something you'll never ever do again.
Yeah. Incredible. So who are your closest buddies?
We had a little so everyone, there's 5 bedrooms in the house. So you're in a house, no contact with the outside world, and you're in 5 shared bedrooms. So the group of us that were in that bedroom to begin with, so five of the boys, myself, Pete, Sam, Samuel and Callan. And we became quite a close group, and actually Sam and Samuel I'm talking to about doing an event down in Victoria next year. So we became quite close. And then I think once you get past particularly Japan, from Japan onwards was a real bonding experience for all of us there. It was probably the first time where the judges opened up a bit more to us as well. We got to speak to them as kind of people rather than just on set. Because we were all away staying in a hotel in Tokyo. But also those of us who went on that, by that stage it's such a small group of you. There was 9 of us who went, 8 of us who came back. That was a real bonding experience, and I think all of us who went through that experience have been quite close ever since.
Wow. So you didn't actually get much time with the judges, like in between filming them, like, until that Tokyo trip?
No, it depends. You know, they'll come and talk to you as a group. They were quite good, particularly George and Gary were very good at coming in and mentoring us, giving us little classes. But you didn't get that same one-on-one time.
Fair enough.
You got to, and they were quite guarded inevitably because they have to judge. They can't become friends with you because they have to judge you and judge you objectively as to what you're doing. But I think in Japan, you know, we were staying in a hotel. We'd go for breakfast with them if they were around. We'd see them between filming, and it was a great chance to pick their brain and also to just get to know them as people as well, which was a real privilege because they're amazing cooks and amazing kind of legends in the food world.
So tell us what you're up to now.
So I guess I'm testing the water in lots of different things. I used to work in advertising, so I'm using that kind of experience to do a bit of consulting work with some food brands, helping them kind of, you know, grow, and that's quite exciting because that's using my old life and my new life, I guess, in a bit in that way. And I'm also cooking occasionally, which is nice, and you know, sharing some of the food I cooked on MasterChef and some of the food that I've kind of enjoyed cooking since and developing new stuff. So cooking for running a few of my own events and also running events with other people where I'm cooking food and talking to people about my food, and that's the stuff that I really love doing. So more of that.
So there was a big focus on you one day opening up your own pub.
Yes.
Is that still like a dream? Like, is it a real dream, or what's your kind of like big goal aspirations?
It's a real dream that I've probably had for the past 10, 15 years, but I never thought it would come around quite this quickly. So one day, I'm really sure I'll open that country pub. I really want to. I've got that kind of desire to do that one day. I don't know how soon it'll be. And I don't know whether it'll be a country pub I'll open first. Maybe it might be somewhere even in the local area if I get the opportunity. So what I'm using now, I'm using the experience now of cooking at different events and serving food to people to get all of that experience so that when the opportunity comes up, I'm ready to take that on. And I love how it all comes together. I don't necessarily want to be locked away in a kitchen in a country pub. I want to be there talking to people over the bar as well. I want it to be my pub, everything I want in a pub brought together in one place, and that includes the food, that includes the drink, the atmosphere, just everything a good country pub should be, and I want to be part of that.
Love it. Okay, some quick questions here.
Yes.
Red wine or white wine?
Oh, that completely depends. You can't answer. That's like choosing between mum or dad. Not that my parents were alcoholics, by the way, for the record. But, no, look, I guess the sort of food I like to cook is a lot of comfort food,
Yeah.
and a glass of red with comfort food
Yeah.
is. But then if you sat on a deck like this with a glass of rosé,
Well, actually,
like
it's
we are,
Friday.
then you can't complain at that. So look, I do enjoy a glass of wine, whether it's red or white, but if that's choose,
Okay.
probably red.
Red. Chocolate or cheese?
Cheese.
Oh, that was
No question.
Really?
I don't have a sweet tooth and I love cheese.
Okay.
So that was an easy one. More of the same, please.
Okay, fair enough. And what would your ultimate last supper be?
Sunday roast.
Okay.
I only got there that quickly because I've thought about it before. It's
Yeah.
a really hard question otherwise.
Yeah, it is.
But Sunday roast means you can get amazing piece of meat, you can get all the trimmings, you can start throwing in all those extra little sides. Yorkshire
Yeah.
puddings, regardless of whether it's beef or not.
Yeah. Yes.
There's so many. Oh, I could go on and on about what
Okay.
goes on a Sunday roast.
Okay. Awesome. All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap that up now. One thing we will remind you about is we're about to do our first event in Sydney, sorry for everyone else, on the 26th of November, and there are a handful of tickets left. Arum is going to be cooking on the day, a 3-course menu, and whilst we would love to tell you exactly what it is, we're going to keep that a bit of a secret until you get there. And also you'll experience 6 beautiful local wines. We'll have one of our producers there as well, a bit of a storytelling session, but most of all it's just going to be a hell of a lot of fun amongst like-minded foodies. So yeah, come along. A link's in one of our posts on our Facebook feed, so jump onto that. But yeah, that's it. Thank you, Arum.
Right.
Have an awesome weekend, guys.
Bye.
Bye.